Okay.
Having a snack, she said she'll be out when she's done.
She did, oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, well, we can start, oh, there she is. We're good. Okay, folks, we'll try to make this pretty quick. Starting off, we've got two withdrawals. We've got one from Senator Kramer and another one from Senator Hester. And would anybody like to move to accept their withdrawals? A second? Okay, all in favor of allowing them to withdraw their bills? Raise your hand. Okay, that knocks out two. Next up, you want to start, April? Because you've got three here on the list. Do you want to, or do you want to state any preference as to?
Typically just take them in order.
Okay, let's go in order. Why don't we start, we'll start with you, April, on Senate Bill 10.
Right. Senate Bill 10, Department of Natural Resources, Documents, Digital or Electronic Issuance. This bill expands a requirement that the Department of Natural Resources make available and issue certain licenses and stamps in a digital or electronic format to apply to all licenses, stamps, permits, registrations, and certificates issued by the department. The bill correspondingly expands an authorization for an individual to satisfy any requirements to possess or display those documents by possessing or displaying the documents in a digital or electronic format. There are several amendments in your voting packet. The first is on page 2. This is an amendment from Senator Bailey that delays the bill's effective date to July 1st, 2024. The next amendment starts on page 3. These were the amendments that were requested by the Department of Natural Resources. The amendments exempt certain licenses, certificates, identification numbers, stickers, plaques, and decals from the bill's requirements, which you can see listed there. Specifically, these are the licenses and decals that need to be affixed to a vessel or to gear or things like that, where you do need like a physical sticker on something. And then finally, I would just note that Senator Hester has requested to be added as a co-sponsor if this bill moves forward.
Okay. Would anybody like to move those set of amendments, including the sponsor amendment? Okay, Senator Washington, is there a second? Okay, all in favor of the amendments? Okay, is there a motion to move the bill favorable as amended? Okay, we have a first and a second. Okay, I don't think this needs a roll call vote necessarily. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? Anybody opposed? Senator Gallion, did you raise your hand? You're okay? You're in favor, I'm sorry. Okay, the bill passes unanimously. Next up, we've got Senator Brooks, Senate Bill 23. Alexis?
Senate Bill 23, Heating, Ventilation, Air Conditioning, and Refrigeration Services, Journeyman License Qualification. This bill increases from 1,875 to 6,000 the amount of training hours, and from 3 years to 4 years the length of time that an applicant is required to have an apprentice license before qualifying for the Journey Person Heating, Ventilation, Air Conditioning, and Refrigeration Contractor License. There are no amendments to this bill.
Okay, is there a motion? Is there a second? Second. Okay, any discussion? Okay, Senator Hester, you had a, yeah?
I'm sorry, I was just curious. It just seems like a huge jump from 2,000 to 6,000.
Well, yeah, primarily, if you look at some of the neighboring states, you know, that's what they're doing. And plus, this bill, we've got support from the unions on the bill. They think those hours are adequate, as well as non-union. The HAAC, that the heating and air conditioning contractors, as well as the Association of Air Conditioning Professionals, they all feel as though. And you've got about, what, 30% of those individuals trying to get journeyman licenses who are failing. So they feel as though that additional testing will increase the number of those individuals who can pass that particular test. So we only had one opposition, but that was the MBIA, Maryland Builders Industry Association. But, Kim, did they change, do you recall on that?
They said they weren't going to actively lobby against it.
they're not going to actively lobby against it, so, yes.
Okay, any further discussion on the bill? Okay, since there was a question, Senator Washington.
Just to allay, I had concerns and researched and looked around, and it definitely seemed like the right move for Maryland, so.
Okay, any additional discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? Seeing none, okay, that bill passes. Move on to Senate Bill 34, Senator Hester. April?
Senate Bill 34, Department of Agriculture, State Ombudsman for Value-Added Agriculture. This bill establishes the State Ombudsman for Value-Added Agriculture as a position in the Maryland Department of Agriculture. There is an amendment in your packet on page 9. The amendment renames the position to be the State Specialist for Value-Added Agriculture, and clarifies that value-added agriculture includes enterprises providing equine services.
Move favorable as amended.
Oh, and I should also add, sorry, we have a request from Senator Gallion to be added as co-sponsor.
Okay, first, before we move the bill, anybody want to move the amendments?
Move the amendments.
Yes, second on the amendments, okay, those, all in favor, raise your eye. Okay, anybody want to move the bill as amended? We got a motion, second, all in favor of the bill as amended, Senate Bill 34? Aye. Okay, that bill passes. We're going to move down to Senator Bailey, Senate Bill 102. April?
Senate Bill 102, Natural Resources Recreational Crabbing License Exemption. This bill authorizes a person younger than age 16 to catch or attempt to catch crabs for recreational purposes in waters of the Chesapeake Bay and its tidal tributaries without a recreational crabbing license. There are amendments in your bill packet. These amendments start on page 10. You can see a reprint on page 11. These are amendments that are being requested by the Department of Natural Resources. They strike the bill's general exception for persons under age 16 and instead specifically authorize a person under age 16 to use a collapsible trap or net ring when crabbing recreationally without a license.
Yeah, and I think that kind of maybe addressed some of the issues that came up at the hearing. So with that, would anybody like to move that particular amendment? Okay, Senator Washington, a second. Senator Augustine. All in favor of the amendment? Aye. Okay, anybody like to move the bill as amended? Senator Washington, second, Senator Brooks. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Seeing none, okay. Bill passes. Final bill of the day and for the week, Senate Bill 121, Senator Rosepep.
Senate Bill 121, More Opportunities for Career-Focused Students Act of 2023. This bill generally requires local school systems to assist high school students in preparing for admission to registered apprenticeship programs in a manner similar to how they assist students in preparing for admission to post-secondary institutions. Specifically, a county board of education that uses a certain platform must provide a method to allow a student or the parent or guardian of a student to authorize the release of the student's personal information and platform results to apprenticeship sponsors and employers registered with the Department of Labor or a local workforce development board. Public high schools are required to inform students of employment and skills training opportunities in the same manner as it informs students of post-secondary education opportunities. It also requires a county board to pay to take an apprenticeship entrance exam or industrial certification exam if it pays for certain standardized tests for entrance into institutions of higher education. There are no amendments, and I should note the Senate did pass this bill last year unanimously.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, seeing none, anybody want to move the bill? Senator Washington favorable, Senator Hester second, all in favor? Okay, that bill passes, and that's our work for the week, and enjoy tomorrow off, the weekend, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.